So Spider-Man No Way Home just released. If you live in certain countries that have received the film as of today, I've just got home from it. I am still trying to process it, and this is going to be my review for it and first thoughts. And if you worried about spoilers, there'll be a non-spoiler section, then the spoiler section, which I'll get into non-spoilers now. But just so you know, spoilers will come up. But I will give it another warning beforehand. And what can I say about this film? It's a love letter to Spider Man. This film, obviously, everyone knows this film brings back characters from previous live action iterations of Spider Man, and they respect those movies. Clearly, their filmmakers love the first two sets of Spider Man films, and regardless of your opinion, I don't like the second set of Spider Man films, the Amazing Spider Man movies, but the fact that they showed love and care towards those films and its characters I couldn't be happier about. And same goes for Sam Raimi trilogy. I grew up with them. I grew up with Toby. I grew up with the villains. I love those films to my core. But I couldn't express how much I love those films. They make me love Spider Man, and they were handled with so much love and care. And John Watts, like Tom Holland said, he was a Sam Raimi camera move. Where it felt like at times you were watching a Sam Raimi movie, the way the camera was like handled, and even like the performances of the actors, because they were very serious, but at the same time they had the Sam Raimi cheesy corniness that we just love, but I love at least, and it was. This film is just a love letter, like I said. It's a true love letter to Spider Man. If you like Spider Man a little bit, you'll really enjoy this film. If you love Spider Man half as much or even as much as I do, you will probably scream a lot of times in this film. I can stumble on my words. You'll cry like I have in this film, both happy and sad tears. The film is, it's my favorite live action Spider Man movie, and probably my overall favorite comic book movie ever, bar Spider Verse, Into the Spider Verse it is. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can say without spoiling the film. Um, Tom Holland, he is the Spider Man. Like Tom Holland's Spider Man has been perfect from the get go. Everyone sort of agreed, well, not everyone, but a lot of people agreed that in Civil War Tom Holland was perfect. He was utter perfection. He captured Peter Parker's personality to a T. Then Homecoming came out, that solidified it even more. Avengers Infinity War, even more. Endgame, more. Far From Home, even more. But No Way Home, when I say it makes him the definitive live action Spider Man, I mean it. His performance in this film was incredible. Not only from a Peter Parker Spider Man standpoint, but as an actor, like you could feel every emotion he was feeling. You could feel the stress, the anxiety, the sadness, the anger, the rage, the hatred, the joy, the everything. Tom Holland's performance in this film, it probably could be his best performance ever. I think his performance in Cherry was up there, but I haven't seen Cherry in a few months, so I'm not entirely sure. But I would say Tom Holland's Spider Man is the best live action Spider Man we've seen because wow. And of course, the returning villains. There's no spoilers. Be noticed from the trailers. The villains in this film were fantastic. I love the villains coming back. It's even the ones I didn't like, such as Electro. While he wasn't as good as I hoped, he was still fantastic. He was a lot better than he was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But this one, he wasn't as good as I hoped. But still great. Doc Ock, without getting the spoilers, they treated him with so much love and care, and I'm so happy with that. I'm so happy they treated him with love and care for those films and his character. Then Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe once again knocked it out of the park. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is just incredible. You can't help but love the guy, and as cheesy and corny as he was in the first film, he was great. But this one, he is menacing. He has topped himself as the Green Goblin. He is menacing. He is scary at times. Like he truly is just an incredible villain. And I can't say much for spoilers, obviously, but yeah, MJ and Ned, they had a lot more stuff to do in this film. They had a lot of stuff to do in Far From Home and Homecoming for Ned. But this film, they really had a lot more stuff to do. They were very focal characters of this film. Aunt May in this movie was very good. Happy, well, his screen time wasn't over the top. It was very good. Um, J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons is the best actor in Marvel probably ever. His character is perfect. They had to bring him back in the MCU because why wouldn't he? He's literally perfect to play the role. I'm trying to think of any other characters I can talk about or spoiling the movie. I think that about covers it really for the character wise. Yeah. So overall, love the film, love the story, love Tom Holland, love the characters, love everything about this movie. Now I'm going to move into spoiler stuff now, but I'm going to know my score of the movie. Skip to this time code because, like I said, this is the spoiler section. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, or you don't want it to be spoiled, I would say skip now. But for those who have seen this movie or don't care about spoilers, um, yeah. So here we are. Spoilers. Final warning. We got Matthew Murdock back. I'll get to the other two coming back, but Daredevil is my favorite live action comic book adaptation, except for this. Daredevil is my favorite show. Matt Murdock in the MCU is my favorite character. I can't stress how much I love the character of Matthew Murdock in the MCU. Like I truly couldn't, despite his scene in the film being so brief, like 2 minutes at the most. I really couldn't be happier to see him again. Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock is the best superhero performance in live action and anything probably. He captures he gives everything to Matt Murdock, and him getting the vindication he deserves, and not only him but the fans. Like for years, people have petitioned for Daredevil to come back to save Daredevil, and it's gonna be a Hawkeye spoiler, but we got Wilson Fisk back now as well. So having Fisk and Matt Murdock back on the same day, to me, someone who loves the Daredevil Netflix series, it was unholy. It was I had a feeling we would get them back, but I never truly knew we would get them back. So having them back in the MCU, played by Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, it really couldn't make me happier. It truly couldn't. But that's not why people saw this movie. We know why people went to see this movie. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they're back, and they were incredible. Um, Even Andrew Garfield, who I wasn't a fan of as Spider Man. I was when I was younger. Then I grew up some more. And I was like, I don't really like this Spider Man. He doesn't really like. He doesn't feel like Spider Man. He doesn't act like Spider Man. But this film rectifies that. His first scene in the movie is him being a goofy idiot. He kept like Andrew Garfield's first scene in this movie captures what Tom Holland done in his first movie and by extending the second film. He's a lovable idiot Peter Parker's supposed to be. It's just him, MJ, and Ned dicking around in Ned's house. It's such a simple but effective scene for the Spider Man who is just this loner weirdo, which I know what Peter Parker is supposed to be, but he doesn't feel like Peter Parker. He skateboards and like that isn't Peter Parker. I like the fact he injected Andrew Garfield's personality into Peter, but it doesn't work for me and a lot of others. So Andrew Garfield getting a second chance, which I've always hoped for him to get, and is succeeding. I'm so happy for him. I hope he gets another chance again, because if you've seen the film or if you haven't, he mentions the fact he sort of lost it after losing Gwen. He stopped pulling his punches. He could have killed people. Like we don't know exactly, but all we know is he just sort of lost hope. I would love to see that film of Spider Man, and it is hypocritical, but I want to see that sort of broken side of Spider Man. Even give him the black suit, like I just do something with Andrew Garfield again, because he truly is the best actor to play Spider Man. So seeing him again was fantastic, and loved that. Couldn't be happy to have him back. And Tobey Maguire, like I said, I grew up with Tobey Maguire. I was so happy to see him again. It was very emotional to see him again. It was a truly, like, incredible experience to see Tobey Maguire Spider Man again. While he is my favorite Spider Man, that's Yuri Lowenthal, and my second favorite is Tom. Seeing Tobey Maguire suit up again in Spider Man and hearing the classic Raimi theme was just beautiful. It was perfect. It was everything I wanted. Checking up on him again, and while we didn't find too much about what's going on in his life, I would have liked to know, like, is he married to MJ? Does he have his daughter May Parker? Is May in that universe still alive? I would have loved to know, and maybe we will find out in the future, and maybe Spider Man 4 or a second Spider Verse live action movie, or even across the Spider Verse. But yeah, seeing Tobey Maguire in this film, it was truly special, and Andrew Garfield. But Toby is why I love Spider Man. To put it simply, I was so. I'm saying this a lot of this, but I was so happy to see him again. Like I truly was. Like I'm not some Raimi stan. I don't praise Sam Raimi is the holy god of Marvel movies or comic book movies. But his movies have a very, very special place in my heart, and as does Tobey Maguire's performance as Spider Man. So, yeah, those three comebacks, incredible. Now, I briefly mentioned Doc Ock's character was treated with love and care. It was treated with so much love and care, he kept its entire arc intact. I couldn't be happier with the fact he kept it intact because I was really worried he might like change his entire character arc from what we see in Spider Man 2, where the inhibitor chip takes over him. Then in the end, he turns back and he sacrifices himself to save everyone. And while, as we know in the trailers, he came back evil, the inhibitor chip eventually gets fixed by Peter, and he does remain to be that good guy who redeemed himself in the end. He went as far as to save one of the Spider-Men in his movie from Electro, which, like I said, I'm so happy to keep that intact because it was a concern of myself and other fans that he might change that and sort of take that away from his character and what Sam Raimi established in that movie, but thankfully he didn't. And as I mentioned as well about Green Goblin, about how incredible he was the best live action Spider-Man villain and overall Spider-Man adaptation villain. Like I said, he was terrifying, he was menacing, and he killed Aunt May. Like Peter Parker in the MCU has lost more than any other live action Peter Parker, or even any other adaptation of Peter. He's lost Uncle Ben. He fucking died. Tony Stark died. Aunt May has died now, and now, which I'll get into in a few minutes, no one knows who he is. He's alone. He's got no one left in the world. He has lost 5 massive things. He is nobody. He is nothing. He has nothing but who he is. Peter Parker is nothing but Peter Parker. Peter Parker has no friends. He's got no family. He has nothing anymore. And the fact that's responsible, the Green Goblin killing Aunt May, who becomes Uncle Ben in this sort of universe where she says the line, with great power comes great responsibility. It was truly just this amazing thing, and while people have said Aunt May has been wasted in the MCU, and while I somewhat agree, the fact that she is sort of Peter's like motivator to be like, with great power comes great responsibility, I think was really a good move. A nice little reference as well on our tombstone to Spider-Man PS4, which I love that game, so seeing a little reference to that on her tombstone was very, very good. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, Green Goblin, he was fantastic. I loved Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe, like I said, killed it. His performance, as always, is incredible. Willem Dafoe is one of the best living actors ever. If you haven't seen The Lighthouse with him and Robert Pattinson, I would highly recommend it because it is a fantastically made movie. It is like one of the best films I've seen, not only the last decade, but ever. I've only been alive for 2 decades, but still. Um, Thomas Hayden Church of Sandman came back, and like Doc Ock, I'm so glad he preserved his character arc. Him and Peter sort of reconciled, and that was a really nice thing to keep in touch. Electro, him and Peter sort of made up. The film is just the fact they take all the villains from this film and create a sinister 5, ferocious 5. I don't know. And you don't kill the villains. Instead, they try to save them. And that's what's so incredible. That's what I loved from this film, and what I thought was going to happen in the trailers that did happen. Peter didn't want to kill his villains, bar Goblin at the end. He wanted to save them. Like, that's who Spider-Man is. He wants to see the good in people. That's so incredible. The fact he done that, and while he did completely snap and want to murder Green Goblin, which, by the way, when Toby jumped in front of that, I nearly had a damn heart attack because I thought he was going to die the way Harry died saving him. Then he didn't, but then Goblin stabbed him, and I was ready to just to run home crying because I was not emotionally prepared to watch my Spider-Man who I grew up with die. I was not prepared. Thankfully he didn't. But yeah, what was I talking about? I can't remember. Oh, just to move on to what I said. Peter has nothing now. He has got no friends, no family. No one remembers who he is. Not even like the Avengers, not even Doctor Strange. Literally no one remembers that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And I think that is, 1, heartbreaking. But 2, I think it's sort of great because I'll get into this in a minute. But a lot of criticisms about the MCU Spider-Man has been about how everyone knows who he is, and then everyone literally knows who he is at the end of Far From Home and at the beginning of this. So him being pulled completely back into this isolated person who has like who no one knows is Spider-Man, I think was a really really smart but really sort of heartbreaking move by the team behind this movie. Um, and on top of that, his new suit. That new suit is, while we didn't fully see it, it's beautiful. It's perfect. I think it could be my favorite live action Spider-Man suit. It looks very similar to Disneyland Spider-Man suit, which I'm perfectly okay with. I think that suit is incredible, but it's gone back to the classic blue and red. It's got no more black lining. It's perfect. The brief glimpses we saw of the suit in the final swing, I love the suit. The suit was incredible. Everything with this movie really is incredible. I'm trying to think of more stuff I can talk about spoiler wise before I move on to the final verdict. But yeah, I think I'm done here for now. I'm still trying to process the movie. Maybe I'll make a follow up video if anyone wants it, talking about the movie, spoilers or whatever, or theories or the credit scene. Oh, that's it. Venom. He's in the MCU, but thankfully it is not the god awful Tom Hardy one, because I do not like that Venom. I have never liked Tom Hardy's Venom. That's not against Tom Hardy. That's the choices the writers and director have made with this character. I don't think of Venom. I don't think of some idiot. Like Venom, the Sony Venom is like how Peter Parker should be, and for me it just does not work. He does not work as a goofy idiot. Venom does not work as some monster who wants to go in and party and kill people. Whatever. I don't like it, and the fact like Let There Be Carnage credit scene had me worried that, oh my god, we're gonna get this Peter against this Eddie, and I don't like that. But no, Eddie has gone back to the Sony universe, but a bit of the symbiote has left in the MCU. So that means either one, we'll have a new established Eddie Brock in the MCU to become Venom, or two, Mac Gargan Scorpion will become Venom in the MCU like he has done in the comics. Or option three, which is the most unlikely scenario of this, Flash Thompson in the MCU becomes Venom. Which this Flash becoming the MCU's Venom, but I love this Flash, would be probably worse than Tom Hardy's Venom. That would not work. So hopefully one of the first two happens. And obviously we'll be getting the MCU's version of the Black Suit either in Spider-Man 4 or Spider-Man 5. Hopefully 5, because in the fourth one I want to see Peter sort of... Actually no, I take it back. In Spider-Man 4 I want Peter to be... This the symbiote feeds off negative emotions, right? I make a video of this. But I want him to have the symbiote in Spider-Man 4 and introduce Kingpin back in this Peter Parker's life. Introduce Black Cat, because that would really work really well with him being very lonely romantically. So yeah, I might make a video on that. I'll see. And the other credit scene, Doctor Strange 2 trailer, which I thought was incredible. I am very excited for Multiverse of Madness in May. I might do a breakdown of the trailer, but yeah, the trailer very solid. Very excited for everyone. Very excited for the future of Spider-Man. Holy crap! This has been going on for nearly 20 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up now. Okay, spoiler done. Spoiler section over. Hi people that skipped. If you haven't skipped. Um, Overall, this film, I love this film. It's a love letter to Spider-Man. I love everything in this film. If you like Spider-Man, or if you love Spider-Man, like I said, you will love this movie. If you love other characters in the MCU, you will love this movie. This film has everything for everyone. I think it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, overall, I'd give this film like a 9.5, maybe a 10. I'd give it a 10 if I can give Spider-Verse an 11. But if I have to be fair, and I have to say Spider-Verse is a 10 out of 10, can't go beyond 10. This is a 9. I would say 10, but like I said, I don't think it's on equal level to Into the Spider-Verse. It's very close, so maybe a 9.5 instead of a 9. But overall, yeah, I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have seen it, I hope you loved it as much as I did, and I'm more than happy to make more videos talking about this movie and breaking stuff down and whatever else Spider-Man related, because I love Spider-Man. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like Spider-Man, I presume you do, check out these various Spider-Man PS4/5 game videos I've made. Editing Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and various other characters from the universes into the games. So I sort of spend a lot of time with those. So if you want to check them out, that'd be very much appreciated. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you liked the movie too. So again, bye.